Hello, this is Group 3 and our project Cinnabon. These are our members, Darrick, Maisha, Shabbir, and Tanish. So what is Cinnabon? Cinnabon is an app that offers users the latest insights into popular movies and TV shows. You can create your own watch list, stay updated with the new releases, and chat with other fellow enthusiasts. So why Cinnabon? So it is a one-stop solution to discover new content, keep track of what you want to watch, as well as connect with friends. It is a niche approach as it is for users who want to enjoy these features without having the need to stream. So what are the technologies we used? So these are the new technologies we used: Jetpack Compose, Firestore, Firebase Authentication, and TMDB API. So we had 4 members and 3 weeks to implement these features: instant messaging chat functionality, movies API, user authentication flow using Firebase, as well as search functionality and adding friends. Let's look at our thread diagram. So this is our thread diagram. This is really similar to the one we had for our show and tell 2. We did have some changes, which I will go over right now. So most of the changes occurred over here. We now have a social screen which is connected to our dashboard, and the social screen has a search bar which uses a search view model, and the social screen also has a profile button which takes us to the profile screen, which is connected to the settings screen and in turn connected to the user view model. And the profile screen is also has a request button where you can view your friend requests, and that is connected to the friends view model and the friends repository, and these are getting all the data from the Firestore. And the social screen also displays a list of the chats you have, and so you can go to the chat list screen as well. You can go to the individual chat screen from the social screen, and you can also search up other users and go to their profile from the social screen, which is connected to the friend view model and the friend repository, so that you can send the other user a friend request. The chat screens are connected to the chat view model, which is connected to the chats repository and which gets all of the data from the Firestore. So we are following an MVVM architecture where all of the UI are getting the data and updating the data in the view model. And the view model is again getting and updating to the repository, which is finally connected to the Firestore. So these are some of the screenshots of our code implementation. So in the when we start the app, we do have a login screen pop up, and this is the code for the login button. So as you can see, it calls the user view model to sign in. And inside of the user view model, we have the sign in function, which connects to the Firebase authentication to sign in the user with email and password. This is our chat entity. And this is our function for sending a message, which is inside of the chat view model. It connects to the chat repository, which has another function to implement this. And this is a function in the chat repository which actually implements the sending the message functionality. This is how we are updating a user's chat in the chat repository. Let's look at our app and how it works.
Hello and welcome to the demo of our application Cinnabon. We already saw how to create a new user in our last demo, so in this one, let's just sign in. Now that we've signed in, we can see the new, popular, and upcoming movies, and we can search for movies like Avengers. Let's say we want to watch this movie later. We can bookmark it to our watch list. Now, if we go over to lists and we open our watch list, we can see the Avengers is added right there, as well as the movies that were previously added. From here, we can also create a new list. We can also rename this list. Let's call it Star Wars. And we can add a movie. Let's add a Star Wars movie. Next, let's head over to the social screen. We have our profile page. We can go to a friend's profile page. As you can see, I've sent a request. And we can press message, which will open a message, and we can send messages. We can also view their other person's watch list. Using the Find Friends, we can search a friend's username and bring up their profile and send them a friend request. That concludes the demo of our application.
So how did we divide the tasks for this project? Darrick did the UI for the screens mentioned, as well as the data entity. For the movie, implementing new chat functionality, the thread diagram, the settings page implementation, watch list implementation, and he worked on the website, as well as a voiceover for show and tell too. I worked on the search bar implementation, the friends implementation, the UI for the screens mentioned, as well as the UI mockup using Figma, the MVVM diagrams, the slides for show and tell 1, 2, and the final presentation, as well as the show and tell 1 video and the final presentation video. Shabbir worked on a lot of the administrative tasks. He was our primary website developer. He did some of the friends logic and code. He did the user authentication backend logic, forgot password and sign out. He did the video editing and voiceover for show and tell too. He helped debug the code, finished up a lot of our coding, and he helped with the ideation or the feature flow of the project, as well as supporting members in the code development. Tanish did the dashboard navigation implementation, as well as setting up TMDB API and implementing all logic related to movies. He did all of the chat implementation, as well as watch list implementation. He did the UI of the screens mentioned, as well as helping with the project ideation and supporting members in their code development, fixing errors, and finishing up and cleaning code. He also initialized the project in GitHub with material theme. Let's talk about the lessons we have learned. So from this project, we learned how to use Jetpack Compose, which is much easier to integrate with Kotlin, as it is made for Kotlin. And it has less boilerplate code compared to XML, as well as it's less error prone, and it ensures that the UI is consistent all across our app. For the TMDB API, we learned how to integrate a third-party API into our app, as well as handling API requests using coroutines and parsing API responses to usable objects we can use in the app, and also effectively understanding the API documentation and using it. For Firebase, we learned how to set up Firebase projects and how to integrate it into our app, as well as Firebase authentication and coroutines to handle all of the Firebase interactions. So inside of the Firebase, it's the Firestore. We also learned how to perform the create, update, delete operations using Firestore's real-time features, as well as efficient data retrieval techniques. We learned using complex queries, and we managed complex user interactions, and we also learned how to navigate the Firestore documentation. So some of the challenges we faced during this project was planning and time management. Complexity of the app we envisioned exceeded the feasible development, which was a tight time frame of 3 weeks only. We also had quite a few technical challenges, including laptop challenges, where the Android Studio and laptop issues did impact our development. And it was a bit of a linear development flow, as there was a high interdependence within app components. And for the Compose previews, it was also very unreliable, since it did not work quite frequently, and we had to rely on running the app repeatedly to see our UI changes. Thank you for your time. This was group 3.